about that is make it hurt.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you come in, you might as well just clap your hands, do something, stomp your feet, get crazy, just do anything, and let's just welcome everybody right now to the one and the only. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Big Time Show podcast that is being seen live as we speak on Facebook, on YouTube, both the Big Time Show pages, as well as Twitter or X, whichever way you want to call it, and on Twitch live right now. We're also being seen live right now, of course, on the NGBN network right now as we speak. I'm a little jealous right now because some of my co-laborers from the network are in Las Vegas right now, and they are at the Super Bowl. They are down there partying. They're going down there to go to work for what an experience it may be. And if some of those guys are watching now on Roku or on Amazon or on Android, we are glad that you guys are there. Next year, I will be there with you guys, and I can't wait wherever it is. Hopefully, my Cowboys will be there. I'm really going to go crazy then. All I'm going to say is we're probably going to need some bail money. You understand? A whole lot of bail money because, you know, it just ain't no telling how I'm going to be acting if that happens. Let me go ahead and just say this now. We had such a great time last week on Saturday that with my guest and my brother, I may add, a guy who I think we almost kind of sound alike. And I'm quite sure if you were with us Saturday, you heard a lot of similarities. You heard a lot of, different ways. Very educated type show, but yet still kind of crazy, if you want to say that. And the night not going to be any different because we are in, as I said before, we are in rehab. We're still in rehab, but we're getting better because we're trying to find solutions. That's where we are right now. And tonight, I got my brother with me again, and I believe that we're going to be seeing a whole lot of him. I like his style. I like the way he does things. And as you come in, please share. Please share. Hit the like button. And I need all of y'all to hit some like buttons now because the one and only, my brother is in the building. Amp Sports is in the house.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all know what time it is. I am excited to be here. Look, for some of y'all who may not know, some of y'all I know already do. Yeah. Today, ladies and gentlemen, is a special day in the Cowboys content creator world because we are celebrating life. We are celebrating the renewal of life, another turn around the sun for yours truly, Big Time. So y'all give it up I need to see some clapping emojis
Yeah.
in the chat. Send the
Yes.
party, the cake. You know the birthday emojis. Give it to him because this man deserves it. A lot of y'all who know him, you've seen how he is continued to elevate over the course of his life, but most importantly and more recently, you have seen him share and pour out his testimony. So again, we do not take anything for granted. That's why we call it the present, because it is truly a gift. So again, one time, happy birthday to Big Time. Salute, and I thank you for having me on.
Man, look, I wouldn't have it any other way, and I appreciate those that are already, wishing my happy birthday. I appreciate that. Most of you gave me all the love during the day, as we put out the post. In this case, before we really start moving, I'm celebrating because most of you know that in November or December, I believe, forget what it was, I went in with a 222 over 191 blood pressure. I was had a TIA, had what they call a mini stroke, and of course, I was very close to having a lot of real damage, even perhaps death. Let's call it like it is. But God, of course, in His mercy and His wisdom, gave us another chance to, make it to this day, which is my birthday. And I'm very excited to be here on another birthday. I turned 51 years old today. 51 years old. I'm excited about it. I'm extremely happy. I'm just glad to be here just to talk to you guys. Hope you guys share. We're looking for some people here. I tell you what, just the fact that me and Amp are here together, it deserves some likes. Let's go ahead and start this part out right. Go ahead and hit them like buttons if you're on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry I didn't welcome in Amp Sports, both of his channels. His channels are here on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, I believe. Amp, you put your Twitter on here? Did I have enough room for you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well then, all the Amp Sports family, whether you're coming in now or later, welcome to the show. We're glad to be here. We're not here to talk about nothing but the Cowboys again today. We already took care of one side pretty well. I think we took care of one side pretty well. We were on the offensive side of the ball. And I believe that we attacked things. And the amazing thing that I would notice is the chat was pretty much with us because they were saying the same things that we were saying.
Absolutely.
I think that everybody's kind of on the same page from Saturday. But Amp, just give us a little small recap about that, what we kind of talked about. And we won't be here on this too long, but let's talk about it real quick.
Cool. So again, happy to be here. Like he said, y'all, the chemistry and the flow of the show was so nice. We had to come back twice.
Yeah.
We tapped into a little bit of everything, but we talked about obviously the Cowboys retaining Mike McCarthy. Unfortunately, us losing Dan Quinn to the Commanders. We talked about philosophy and how whoever this next defensive coordinator is that comes in, he's going to need to do a couple of things early, and that's develop a mission, a vision that will help us in our free agent and our draft acquisitions. We dabbed into Dak's contract and what that may look like and how much is going to be counted toward the books this year. And I believe it's $59.4 million, if I'm not mistaken.
That's it.
So in order for us to be able to do with what our GM, Jerry Jones, stated, all in, we just gonna have to free up some money. So it's not a matter of if, but it's a matter of when Dak Prescott gets extended. You can take it how you want it. We're not even gonna touch that and debate that right now. But we also talked about what free agency may look like and who we may target. And, we dabbled in some of the potential candidates that could potentially be your defensive coordinator for next year. We'll revisit, that again today because, like Big Time alluded to, we're going to be focusing today on the defensive side of the ball because that's where the work is going to start.
Yes.
And that's how we're going to win 6.
Yes. Well, on that note, let's just go ahead and go for it. Let's go ahead and go for if we're going to start it off right, if you want to go player, or do you want to go the whole of the defensive coordinator first?
So we can tap on D coordinator because as many of you know, I think sometime shortly after we went live, actually no, it was last night. I stand corrected. Last night, the news did come out and break that Joe Whitt Jr., our passing game coordinator, who was up underneath Dan Quinn, will be joining Dan Quinn in Washington as his new defensive coordinator. Now, that came as a shock to some people because, the local Dallas media was stating, and you saw them, they played the clip dating back to 2021 where Joe Whitt was quoted as saying on a video, I think it was post-practice, that being defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys was always, and I quote, his dream job. So I kind of want to sit right there for a second because it made me think, after seeing his decision, why is it that he would decide to move, right? So you look at the way the table is set. Jerry and Steven came out and said that Mike McCarthy would not be extended at this point in time.
Bingo.
And so, in essence, you have, and I use the term loosely, lame duck coach, right? So you've got a lame duck coach. Your defensive coordinator is gone. And if memory serves me correct, I think we've got about 8 or 9 players on our defense this upcoming year who are unrestricted free agents. So you're going to have some turnover, not only in the coaching department, but the players as well. And I think that paired with the uncertainty of your head coach is what made Whitt stray away from his dream job. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna compare it to this. Sometimes you got your eye on a young lady, from a distance, and it's like, oh man, she is nice, and you looking at her and it's like, man, I would love to get to know her, until you walk up on her.
Yeah.
And it don't look like the way it did.
Exactly.
And I think that's what happened with Joe Whitt. He saw this organization for what it is, and being quite frank, it spooked him.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest, Big Time. Like, if it's me, I'm talking about family man to family man. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to reach out and grab an opportunity. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I'm gonna have that opportunity the following year. Like, at this point, it's job security. Like, at least I know starting out in Washington, okay, I'm gonna be good for maybe 3 or 4 years. But Dallas, I got 1 year and a question mark.
Yeah.
So I don't fault him. I don't blame him. He made the best decision for him and his family. Some kudos to him. Best wishes to him, except for 2 times next year.
Yeah.
But exactly. Hey, it's business. Ain't nothing personal.
I believe that it is really, you already hit on it. I believe his dream job became a nightmare when the word came out that at least it hadn't been seen an extension for Coach McCarthy. Mm-hmm. You can't, as I think we said it Saturday, you have some that will roll the dice.
Right.
And some of them will just keep them in their hand. Mm-hmm. And I think this is the case, whereas the instability or the presumed instability of the future Cowboy as far as coaching goes. I believe that took away, any hopes of keeping Joe Whitt. Now, when we look at Joe Whitt, a lot of people, if you follow the stats, a lot of people this year wanted to give Al Harris a lot of the credit for the way that the defenders, even Bland, and even before then, Diggs played.
Mm-hmm.
But Cowboy fans, let's go ahead and be honest about it. It was a case of mistaken identity.
Mm.
It was not Al Harris. Al Harris coached, but that was Joe Whitt that was behind
the mastermind
secondary. And this secondary took the ball away more than any other team in the league. They took the defensive secondary passing rank was always top 10 since 2001. Sometime we were in the middle, top 7 and above. It was Joe Whitt that did that. So the idea, now what we don't know is how he was with the front 7. But if you listen to Coach McCarthy said he's well versed in every phase of the defense. That's been well known for a while. So you don't want to be like Eric Bieniemy is today, who just got released by the Washington Commanders. They brought in Cliff Kingsbury. Now Eric Bieniemy, who we all fought for and said, hey man, this man need a head coaching job. He was just like Kellen Moore, who lost his job with the Chargers, but it was early enough that he can latch on to the Philadelphia Eagles. The enemy now there's not too many slots available.
Everything got picked over.
Everybody got picked over. So now he's stuck on the side. Not that he's not a good coordinator. It's just that he's stuck. You don't want Joe Whitt don't want to fall into that trap. Jerry may not say we're going to fire you immediately. Jerry's the type to keep the drama up and fire you at the wrong time. And, job things go, they fill up rather quickly. So the way I'm looking at it is, it's too many, this is just my opinion, it's too many negatives and it outweighs the positives for him joining in as an offensive coach. a defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. I think he made a great move. I believe that he, with Dan Quinn, are going to get minimum. I don't know what Quinn's contract is, but however long Quinn is there, Joe Whitt is going to be there. And I believe it's more stable, let's just say that, than in opposed to the Dallas Cowboys. So I think Joe Whitt made the perfect move decision, which now leads to, a lot of people said Joe Whitt. There are a few people that said Joe Harris. There are a lot of people who want to bring up Mike Vrabel. There are some people that want to bring up Mike Zimmer, of course, for that. So since Joe Whitt is off the table, and last time we talked with everybody, we had said, listen, this is probably would be the most important field because we didn't fill in what we thought the characteristics of the team should be by rehiring or letting Mike McCarthy keep his job.
Right.
So now we got to impose, I call him finesse. So now we got to bring in this physical, at least in my opinion, this physical guy. And he has to come in and develop what I think is the attitude that's going to that's going to carry over even to the offensive side of the ball. That moxie, that thing. So out of the guys, we already know Zimmer has been interviewed. I forgot the other guy who's coming in. Forget my brain right now. I don't think Vrabel's even been contacted. I don't think it's not him. But I know that Zimmer is coming in for interview process.
You got
Martindale, I believe, is coming in. That's what I was thinking.
Durden, Ron Rivera.
Yeah, and Rivera. So the question is, and it's a complex question, and I'm gonna throw it to Amp. Like, who is the physical coach that's going to bring that toughness in, and I'm pretty much talking about the run, stopping the run. But at the same time, is willing to roll the dice, possibly just for 1 year.
I'm gonna tell you who my new favorite is. It's Mike Zimmer.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna tell you why. There's a familiarity with him and the organization. Obviously, he spent 12 years as a coach here in Dallas, so there's the familiarity. He knows the types of games that the Jones family likes to play. He knows their lingo. He knows their personality. He knows their pulse. He also knows what makes them tick. Shout out to Law Nation for this, but he shared a video clip of Mike Zimmer with his time in Cincinnati. Whoo, y'all, I can't repeat it.
You got in him.
I can't repeat it.
Yeah.
But when I say he dug.
Yeah.
And I felt him. You know, that's the type of energy I want from my defensive coordinator. Offense can be, you know, cute and finesse, and even I want them to be a lot more physical. But defense, you talking about controlling a group of men, some certified or supposedly certified killers, headhunters. And when you look at how defense has been flat at times,
yeah,
if he talks to our dudes the way I saw him in that video clip, ain't gonna be too much more flat. And the other thing that I like about it is I don't believe he's going to play the favorites game. Yeah. His favorite is gonna be whoever's playing the best ball. If you can't do the job, have a seat. So not saying that, and you could say those same things about Rivera, but to me, he's a little too quiet.
Yeah.
Zimmer has got a mouthpiece on him. Just being honest. So, you know, when you look at our defense, the young guys that they are, you know, in Hollywood, I need somebody who is going to tell them about themselves. Micah Parsons, you thought you played a good game last week, but let me tell you, I've seen far better. You can be better. I want to see somebody that is going to be able to challenge our young talent and not allow them to get complacent and satisfied with the level of success that they have had. You know, so pardon me, I live next to an Air Force base, but looking at the candidates, I'm not saying anybody else is bad, but to me, he's the one who jumps off the paper, and I think he'll also be the one who is confident enough in his ability to where he might take a risk and gamble on a 1-year deal.
Yes, I agree totally with your choice. I think when you add in that he's from the Bill Parcells coaching tree,
yes,
which only exemplifies toughness. I think that counts for a lot, considering that when not saying our guys aren't tough individually, but as a team defense, especially up the middle, the word tough and Cowboys up the middle don't mix too well together. What he presents and what Zimmer has done is when it comes to strictly, and Amp just gave y'all a great thing about his background and the coaching style. But as far as on the field goes, this man has sent perennial Pro Bowlers from the defensive tackle position, at least to the Pro Bowl. And then when you look at the build of those guys are monsters. They are huge. They eat 20 pancakes per day. I mean, per breakfast. They eat 20 pancakes in the morning, 30 at lunch, and then 40 more at dinner. These are the kind of guys. I'm talking about 6'3", 340, 350, those type of guys. And that's the way that he stops the run. Here's the other thing. He believes in linebacker play. Good Lord, how many times have we said we need linebackers? This guy has sent the young Anthony Barr. The one we got was older last couple of years. He got the young Anthony Barr. He's got a lot of guys that have been Pro Bowlers from the linebacker position. Then he has that real tough guy, Harrison Smith, as the guy that was a safety who was also a Pro Bowl type player all the time. So what I'm saying is that when you're running a legitimate stop the run defense, and his stats were against the run have been great at Minnesota. Always a tough defense, always pretty good at stopping the run. I believe the stat record says on the last 5-6 defenses that he coordinated or coached, they've been in the top 10 in the run. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all we need. We need somebody that know what they're doing and the quality of guys that we need to stop the run. That's what we're looking for. Secondary play, he's always been pretty good at secondary play as well. So he knows what he's doing. I like Wink Martindale, but, is he coming for 1 year? No, I just don't see it. Ron Rivera, I believe he would come because he just got kicked out and they're already writing him off. So I believe he would come. But if out of the two, I think to me, and you may disagree in the chat, and that's okay, because nobody is not a wrong or right answer. I believe that is Zimmer that really should be the focus, and I'm comfortable with that because it's going to be hard to bring somebody in with the instability of Mike McCarthy. You just can't hit your wagon to a guy like McCarthy right now because there's really no guarantees. You don't want to be out of a job the next year. You want to be still in the game when it goes. I mean, so I really believe for now is Zimmer. And of course, if McCarthy don't stay here, it's going to be a pretty good chance that Zimmer going to be gone again. So I think that's the way to go. We got to change the philosophy. Zimmer brings that. In other words, I believe what me and Amp is trying to say is you hire this one guy, it almost covers, or at least you hire a guy that will cover a lot of the deficiencies of what we've been saying that the defense has. Toughness, big bodies in the middle, or the attempt to go try to go get them, linebacker play, and tough secondary play. That's why all we wanted. So I'm in agreement with that. Let's stop right here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go and pay our sponsors real quick, and then me and Amp will come back with probably this same thing. I know Amp got a little bit more to say about that, and we'll do that real quick here. Let's go ahead and just pay our sponsors here. Let me show you first about the NGBN network, NGBN TV network. Just trying to save lives, gentlemen. I hope you enjoy this. I hope you listen to it and consider joining us.
Any longer. Men are in need of community, brotherhood, and a place to call home. The time is now, and that place is NGBN TV. Powered by men just like you, dedicated to launching a one-of-a-kind streaming TV network for men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. Our goal is to inspire, entertain, celebrate, educate, and support men. The NGBN TV sneak peek is launching January 29th. We need you on this journey with us. Ad rates at NGBN TV will never be this low again. So join our movement on NGBN.TV and contact us today. NGBN TV, a network for men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, coming January 29th.
So obviously you guys are in the sneak peek where we just launched on the 29th. My show was the first one. to launch out, and we're doing pretty well. From my understanding, we've already had over 2,000 downloads from Roku TV alone.
Jesus.
So we got serious stuff going on here. The numbers have not come in from Amazon or Android. We just went on Android last week. I hope that you guys will download it. There are a variety of shows. It's just not a sports podcast show. We got inspiration. We got fitness. We got a lot of areas that we're trying to make sure that brothers, will have some outlet to go to where they will be able to find a safe place and keep going without thinking about or falling into some type of depression. I hope that you guys will just download the NGBN TV. The symbol is right there in your corner there, top corner there. Look for that symbol, EGBN.TV. Just download that if you can. You will help us out by doing that. When we just left off, for those that are just coming in, thank you for coming in. Today is my birthday. We still celebrating it. I can't wait. Couldn't wait to get with you guys to come help me celebrate. And thank you for showing up. When we just left, we were talking about the possible addition of Mike Zimmer to it. And Amp has already gave his opinion. I gave mine. I think Amp had a little bit more on that, so I'm going to give you the dance floor.
And great points, by the way, of showing some light on what it could possibly look like with Zimmer being your defensive coordinator. And I totally agree. I believe wholeheartedly that he will be able to mask a lot of our deficiencies instead of expose them, because I feel like Dan Quinn is an adequate coach. He's a very capable coach, but to me, it seemed like he was also a very prideful coach. And ultimately it led to our downfall. But Zimmer, man, the one thing that I also like about him is he's versatile. He's been able to have successful defenses using multiple sets, 4-3, 3-4, so I think he's going to come in here not saying, hey, we're going to run 4-3. But what he is going to say is, after evaluating our defense, this is what we're going to run primarily based off of the strengths of the individuals that he anticipates being here next year. And that's big because when you don't scheme to your players' strengths, you get less of those individuals. And a lot of times you get them reaching.
Yeah.
And you get them uncomfortable.
Yeah.
If a player is comfortable in a set, whether it be, D-Law keeping his hand in the dirt versus standing up, DeMarcus Ware, he stood up. It worked for him. That hadn't necessarily worked out so well for D-Law, So again, you want to be able to enlighten and enhance those strengths, because to me, that's when you get the best version of your product on the field.
Yes. I love it 100%. Now, I want to shift now into what I think is majorly important. One of the guys that Mike Zimmer coached, and hello to everybody that's in the chat. We're not ignoring you. We got so many comments that are going. And listen, if you want your highlight commented, I never hardly say this, but I'll do it now. You can hit that super chat button that you can see on mine. And then if you want to use the stars, if you're watching by Facebook, you can do that as well. And then we'll be able to highlight it. Now, let me go back to it. One of the things that when you start talking about a coach, you have to look at his past and then say, okay, and I'm talking about in particular players. The first thing I brought up to you, Anthony Barr, and told you about linebacker plays. Anthony Barr was a great linebacker, in his prime.
Right.
Perennial Pro Bowler, so, he knows what to do in that situation. But there's one other guy that he caught at that he coordinated with or he coached for a while, and that is Jared Allen. Now, if you know anything about Jared Allen, all you need to say is Hall of Fame. That's all you need to say. What did he play? He played on the line. He played on the edge. He also played a little inside. He was nothing but sick. I hope y'all catch me where I'm going right now. He was 6'3",
I already see it.
255 pounds.
Beefy.
Let's pray in particular to 255 pounds. And this man put this man in a position where he's in Canton, Ohio now, as one of the greatest of all time. 255 pounds is considered to be small. On the line. Okay. Which leads now to
Talk about it.
One Mr. Micah Parsons, who's considered to be small in weight, but he has that Hall of Fame type intangible in speed and power mixed.
Yep.
Speed is power that you just can't deny.
Nope.
I said that to say this, and I moved to Amp about Micah Parsons. Zimmer would bring Micah Parsons probably to another level to me because of what Amp just said, that is just not a 4-3. Micah Parsons would play the outside linebacker in a 3-4 position. And if you do that, he now looks like a DeMarcus Ware type linebacker. And we all know what our DeMarcus Ware did, playing the 3-4 that Bill Parcells taught Mike Zimmer. Come on, Imp. I know I'm killing right now.
Look, y'all.
I can't deal with it.
So we all will admit that as great as we have seen him in his time here in Dallas, we all will admit that we believe Micah Parsons, and you can forget what he said, but I believe in my heart, Micah Parsons has another gear.
Yes.
He said, man, I gave it my all, etc., whatever. Yeah, it sounds good for TV.
Yes.
But let's keep it real, bro. Because he's shown it in flashes. But see, what I need from a leader of my defense, somebody who says that they want to be generational, I need to see more consistency. And based off of what I heard, and I'm referring back to that video, Mike Zimmer said, set the edge.
Yeah, said it. It's your job. It's your responsibility.
He said, what if you lost your mind? I'm going to help you find it.
Yeah, exactly. Or you gonna come sit down on the sideline.
And see, what I saw out of Zimmer also is what I was begging for from Dan Quinn his entire tenure. Yeah, he looked cool up there in the box and all that, but dog, put one of your trusted coordinators up there and let him communicate with you in his ear. But I need somebody on that sideline so when these players get to playing funky, and things start to go to the left, we need to be here. We need to be face to face. Ain't no phone call, ain't no Zoom, it ain't no tablet or nothing like that, or put the headset on. Nah, I'm gonna look you in your face as a man. And tell you this is what I need from you. So I believe that he will help Micah Parsons elevate to another level. And I believe he will also be far more creative.
There you go.
With his utilization.
There you go.
Not just sitting him on the edge and
go.
letting teams scheme him out of the game.
There you go.
You'll see him probably sometimes at Mike. You may see him at strong. You may see him at weak. You know, to constantly keep it changed up. So defenses cannot hone in on how you're going to be attacking him.
Yeah.
I believe Mike Zimmer is the key that will unlock Micah Parsons to truly become the queen of the defense that we need him to be.
Love it. I'm going to say this. You can't keep talking about that you playing chess, use them as a chess piece, when in actuality all you're doing is playing checkers. All you're doing is lining them up on the edge, primarily.
Yeah. You done
and
turn
then
the
when
queen
you line
into
up
a
in
king.
the middle, when you line up in the middle, you know he coming up the middle, which is fine because he's more quicker than every center. It's fine. That's it. But here's the thing that I think that, and Amp, you already kind of went on. I think that when it comes to multiple sets, I believe that will help him actually get over the hump and possibly be the defensive player of the year. Now, here's the thing, y'all. I believe when it comes to Micah Parsons, I believe that we got a case of mistaken identity when it came to him in the first place. The first thing everybody said was Lawrence Taylor. He's not him.
No.
Okay? Because he's not big enough. I'm not gonna say he's not ferocious enough. He's ferocious enough, but he's just not big enough. He's 250 something. I mean, 325 is gonna beat 255 with the, unless the speed carries over. That's wrong. He's not Myles Garrett. You understand? He's not that type of dude. But Micah Parsons can be a guy, and Coach Marr is the one that said this and that rolled this forever. That Micah Parsons can be a guy that can get you 125 tackles for a season. He can get you about 12 or 13 sacks. And he also may get you about 4 interceptions. And that also, he's still going to get his pressures in. And that will give you the chess piece that you need because he's going to be lined up everywhere. As long as you lining them up like he TJ Watt or Myles Garrett,
that's not him.
He's still going to be productive because you can't argue with his productive. He's been all pro since he got into the league. So we can't argue and say he's not productive. It's just a dominant player that we need that can be dominant just by alignment, just how he lines up, which would change it'll change defensive, offensive protections. It'll line up, and maybe the quarterback will have to come to the line, change plays. This is what he presents as a true chess piece in the game. We haven't really used him. Quinn tried to, but not the way that we really need him to be.
He didn't maximize.
Zimmer can do that. Zimmer can do that. And he's done it before. I believe that he will do that again, and we'll get to see this guy really go off. Now, here's the thing that y'all want to talk about Micah Parsons. Man, I'm just talking about the field. We just talked about the home field Parsons. I know what y'all want to talk about. Y'all want to talk about the off the field Micah Parsons.
Yeah, you do.
All right. And I'll go and say it now. There are some things I want to take away, but there are some things I want to keep. He talks. Everybody know he got his podcast. Everybody know he talks. But one thing you don't want to take away is the moxie that he has.
There you go.
You don't want to take away the macho, and the aggressiveness, at least in his talk. Like, I'm the man. I'm the man. Now, his stats may not show it on a Sunday or whatever the case, but you don't want to take that away. He really believes that's the mentality that we've been looking for from him, and he has it. And he has, I don't want to make no mistake about it, because I love the kid. The kid, since he's been in the league, has been a first team All-Pro 2 years, second team All-Pro this year. He's an All-Pro guy. It ain't too many guys walking around, past or present, that will say they were All-Pro in their first 3 years. And the reason why is that ain't just because of respect or whatever. No, he did damage on the field. So let's get that straight. What I don't like is the podcast. Now that's just me. I love if he on there, if you're gonna do it, you might as well do it. But what I don't like is that he's on there because I want him to concentrate on football. And let me go ahead and tell you this. Mike Zimmer is that type of coach that will get in your grill, tell you to sit your tail down somewhere, and let's play football. Now that's what he is. Come on, Em. I don't know if you agree with me or not about his off the field. You may disagree a little bit, but that's what I want to see him do.
So I have absolutely no problem with Micah Parsons being on his podcast during the off season.
Talk.
Perception is everything. Now, we don't know what Micah Parsons does in his spare time. I did hear his brother say last week that he's, kind of more so of a homebody.
Yeah.
He doesn't like to be out in the, party scene, nightlife, that type deal. He's a different individual, right? But the reason why I would like for him just to do that in his off-season time is because when you're in season, the week is quick. You got 6 days to prepare. The first day after the game, you're really trying to recover and rehab and get your body back acclimated after being in that car wreck that you were in the day before. So you're healing up. Yes, you're looking at film, et cetera, whatever. They don't get on the field until about midweek. But what people are going to say is the reason why you cannot be all that we believe you can be is because of distractions.
Yeah.
And that podcast, as nice as it is, and the perspective he gives, et cetera, whatever, all people see is distraction.
Yeah.
Optics is everything. Well, he's spending time doing the podcast. That's time that he could be at home looking at the tablet, looking at film. And guess what? I agree. Now, you don't want to be consumed by the game and spend all of your free time submerged in the game. You do need to take breaks occasionally. It's just like any project you're working on. Sometimes you get to looking at the computer screen for so long, you got to turn your head. You got to, even driving, you're on a road trip. You get so locked in on that tunnel vision sometimes. Occasionally you need to look over and look at the trees or, make a pit stop because there comes a certain level of fatigue. But you can do those things out of the lights, away from the camera. That's how you maintain yourself. But to do this podcast and,
arguing with personalities and all that kind of stuff.
To me, it's also an opportunity for too much bulletin board material.
Exactly.
Because people will take what you say, and you may say it with good, wholehearted intentions, but they will twist that thing around and flip it on you just to make 4 more stories. So now you become, in essence, a victim because people see you as an easy target. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
And, I know we're in the new day and age, and I don't, even in my youth, I don't want to sound like the old man, oh, we never did this and we never did that. I don't want to be that guy. But again, it's about protecting you from unnecessary, unwanted attention because it takes your focus off of the task at hand.
Yeah. Somebody's asking in there. Is that Nick Burden says so? Would you trade him? Would you trade Micah? No way. No way. No way. You really would.
Stop right there, big time. Let me ask you this. Back in the 90s, would you have traded Herschel Walker?
Yeah, because a different set of circumstances. Even though Herschel was great at the time, he was obviously the best player on the team. I back then I knew we weren't going anywhere. In order to get, as we all know, to get some help. Now we didn't expect, Jimmy Johnson to get that, that amount of picks back, but it happened, and of course, he speaks the reason why we were what we became. But I would have, not because of Herschel, but because we were. The difference between Herschel to me now and Parsons now is that we 12-5.
Yeah.
And we're close.
Yeah.
If you ask me.
Yeah.
We're close. And you don't want to give away, one of the best guys for now. But I will throw this in, taking away the close part. See, and we're doing futuristic stuff here, what I'm getting ready to say now. I got to really get a good gauge on where Parsons is with the Cowboys, because at some point, and it's not going to be too long from now, his contract is coming up. And if you know for sure that he got his eyes somewhere else, you better get what you can for him before he leaves you for free.
Yep.
And now that part, that'll be my reason if that was talking about a trade now. If he's upset with the Cowboys, and there's some clues there now that you got me thinking now. Because as soon as Jerry said all in, he said he immediately started talking. Michael said, I sure hope we need one of these guys, some of these guys to get us the hump. Get us some of these other players instead of waiting past day 1 and day 2 free agency. That's what he said. So if you want to keep them, you got to make your best players happy.
Yeah.
So, and if you're not making them happy, guess what?
Because he was banging the table last year for help.
Yeah, he'll go somewhere else and be happy and go join another team. And keep in mind, y'all, he's from Philadelphia, so that's all I'm gonna say. And that's futuristic.
The only reason I ask is because, personally, I'm mentally I'm not there as far as trading him, but I do see where it could potentially be beneficial for you. Now the thing about it is, it's a crapshoot.
Yeah,
because you're trading him a certified generational talent for picks in hopes that those individuals may be able to come in and positively affect your team right away.
Yeah.
When they could be projects, if you will,
Yeah.
I know one thing. I don't want to see another first round pick on defensive tackle. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm looking at I'm looking at the chat, and I'm not knocking you because if you feel that you should trade them, I'm good with that. But Micah Parsons type guys don't grow on trees.
No.
This dude is a Hall of Fame type talent. I know y'all say these guys like him come around once every 20 some odd years. He's different. I don't care what y'all say. He's different. He's highly productive. But when you're in Cowboy,
let me ask a question real quick to the chat. And I'm gonna kick it right back to you. For those who are team trade Micah, no debates, but I just want to ask why. If you're bold enough to put it out there, put it in the chat. Why you feel like the Cowboys should trade Michael? Go ahead, big time.
I think that I think that if your answer is based off of big games and all that kind of stuff, you need to broaden your metrics. I'm just telling you. If you're talking about, he didn't do it in this game, no. This guy here is different. You can't do it. I see one that says this. I see Kid Cowboy. He says money. Well, there are some guys that are in the franchise, like a Dak Prescott, for instance, like a CD Lamb, for instance, that you got to pay somebody. And you don't give away your great players. This dude is too young. He's too good. He has potential of getting even better. This guy, you gonna have to pay. You're gonna have to pay him. And again, it almost kind of, you know what I'm saying? He said great college players coming out every year, but they ain't Micah Parsons though, kid. I don't care what you did at Utah State. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of edge guys that were great in college.
Man, you cooking, man.
You know what I'm saying? I can't give you credit for what you did, in whatever conference you was in. Can you get it done in the league? That's what I'm saying. So there are some guys that are on this team that you're gonna have to pay in order to keep your team in the fight. We just can't give up everybody. You can't give up Dak. You can't give up CD. You can't give up Mike.
Trade them all.
I mean, come on now. We can't do that. We started. We 12 wins away. Don't give away all the firepower.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I just can't. That's me. But if you feel like you can do it, what you really then are saying for those that say get rid of them,
you want
to start to rebuild right now.
You don't want to retool.
I don't think that we're in rebuild mode. I don't think so. I think that we really are closer to the championship than we are going back to a top 10 draft pick every year.
Yep.
And I don't think we're ready for a rebuild. I think we're still there.
Yeah.
So I can't.
You still got a good percentage of your core.
Yes.
Very talented guys that are not very easy to come by. I mean, you've seen us try and fail, especially in the early 2000s, and it in the late 90s. It got ugly. Yeah. And see, I think that's the problem. People don't think that it can get ugly. They believe that 10 wins is a baseline for us. Yeah, with the talent that we have.
Yeah.
Yes, with the coaches that we have. That should be the baseline. It's no reason, it's no excuse on God's green earth why our team, the way it is currently constructed, does not win 10 games.
Yeah.
Just being honest.
It should be an excuse.
So to say right now to burn it down.
Yeah.
What I need you all to do is stop making emotional decisions.
Yeah.
It feels good. It sounds good.
Yeah.
But look at how long it took to put this thing together.
Yeah.
I mean, we still got guys on the team who were drafted 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Core pieces who are still
all pros.
Contributors.
All pros.
All pros.
Come on now.
That's not by accident. So, I sent this to a fellow Cowboys fan a couple days ago, and we were just talking about the team and our chances and feeling like this is the year, not being delusional, but based off of what we're seeing and being analytical about it, okay, we address these situations. Okay, we bring in a veteran receiver. Okay, we we get a veteran cornerback to pair with our all-pro cornerback on the other side, and you look at that and you say, yeah, this feels right. This should be it. And it's just like that game at the arcade with the arm and the prongs.
Yeah.
And you're trying to get that stuffed animal.
Yeah.
And you get around it and you hit that button and you go to pick it up and it slips out.
Yeah.
That has been us the last couple of years. But the beautiful part about it is if you have ever played that game and you've ever won and got a prize, it takes a couple of times to get a feel for it. And every time you get a little bit closer, or it'll pull it up and halfway it might not have a good grip and then boom, it slips again. That's what you've been seeing from your team. So you don't, as you're playing that game, you don't switch your strategy and just say, oh, the heck with it and try and go get another item. No, because you've positioned each time you move that item that you tried to acquire, every time you play it again, so you get closer and closer. But if you decide to check out and say, I'm not putting no more money in, or I'm gonna try to get something else, now you're rebuilding. Now it makes it even more difficult. And that's what they're actually hoping you do, because then you're gonna keep feeding it and keep putting more money in. Instead of retooling. That's the best way I can put it, y'all. We're close. Because you look at the teams over the last couple of years who have made championship games or to the Super Bowl, they ain't more talented than us.
No, not even close.
And if they are, it's not by leaps and bounds.
No.
I mean, you saw a depleted 49ers team last year make it to the conference championship. Having beat us the week before. And I think if Purdy doesn't get hurt, first or second play of the game, it might be a different story. It does take some luck. So I want everybody to kind of pump their brakes, slow it down, look at what we have and say, hey, we were weak in this area. Let's start pushing for reinforcements over here. That's the smart, prudent thing to do instead of the heck with it, man. All of them can go.
That, I'm looking at the chat again, and if you're really talking about letting Parsons go along with some of the other core members, you're really just saying, let's blow this thing up and just start over. That's really what you're saying. And I'm saying you can't do all that. You can't do that. We're closer now than what we are, than what we need. Now, I'm gonna make an analogy to the Cowboys and my beloved Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers had the same talent. They had Van Exel. They had Kobe, real young Kobe, won the Kobe, a couple years later. Eddie Jones had Shaq. They had all that, but they couldn't get past nothing. And then Phil Jackson came in, a coach above a coach. Next thing you know, they run off championships. Pretty much the same talent, just got the coach. What I'm saying is that sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, it is about coaching. Now, what we're talking about, Micah Parsons, is what we're saying, to get the proper production out of him, you got to get somebody in there that will bring out the best in him. And sometimes that is by simply proper alignment. It's really that simple, y'all. I got a world-class chess piece in my lineup. I can't just put them on the edge. I think I said this earlier and I'll say it again because I thought I just saw him. I thought I saw Coach Marv come in. What Coach Marv said is absolutely right. He could be Defensive Player of the Year with less sacks. See, when we say Defensive Player of the Year, for some reason, it's going to turn to a sack championship between Garrett and T.J. Watt. Whoever got the most sacks, they the Defensive Player of the Year. No. Micah Parsons could get, as Coach Marvin said, 125, 35 tackles, whatever. 11, 12 sacks. 3, 4 interceptions. Some fumble recoveries, you're going to be hitting guys. All of that kind of stuff. And still be the most dominant player in the league.
Absolutely.
That's the kind of coach that we need in to bring out the best in this guy. Sometimes it is just a matter of coaching. It really is that. Now, let's go, Amp, and I mean to cut it off. But the biggest problem to me on the defensive side of the ball as a group was not the secondary. The secondary is legit. I mean, there's no real flaws there. Not really.
Yeah. I saw some communication issues at times.
Yeah.
But that's
really.
fixable.
Yeah, that's fixable. And what I'm going to say is from cornerback to safeties, we pretty good. I'm saying real good. Even if Gilmore doesn't come back, and I want him back. But if Gilmore doesn't come back, I mean, you got Bland and Diggs. Good Lord, that's dynamic. Probably the best.
I want to bring Gilmore back, if nothing else, but to allow Diggs to ease his way back in,
because he's coming off a knee injury. We don't know how that's going to be, and we ain't gonna know that until week 1, because they most certainly are not gonna play him in preseason.
Nope.
He's not going to be going crazy in practice as well. So we may not get to know nothing about Diggs until later on that part. But we need the secondary, to me, is legit. Now, you can make an argument about Curse, and, depending on who the coordinator is, you might want somebody other than Curse back there, depending on how you like to play ball. But let me say this. When it comes to the front seven, I'm talking D-line and linebackers. That's where our problem was. I believe Zimmer kind of will have at least the blueprint. May not have the players quite yet, but he will have the blueprint for what we really need as far as front seven goes. And here's the one part that me and Amp kind of talked about earlier today through text message. Because the Cowboys have this infinity for holding on to players that are past their prime, players that should be let go, a couple years before. You're seeing this in Tyron Smith, y'all, even though Tyron is still productive. But we all know if they would have said we're going to let you go, Tyron, 2 years ago, everybody would have been cool with it. But they did this with Jason Witten. They did this with Sean Lee. They just have this infinity to hold on to, quote unquote, their guys that they drafted and all that. I bring all that up to say about this. Y'all notice there ain't nobody talking about LVE. Y'all notice that? LVE hadn't retired. LVE hadn't said he hanging it up. Matter of fact, they're holding on to hope that some kind of way he can come back. But we all know LVE with that neck injury is a risk. And here's the question, and I think everybody gonna have the right answer. What should we do with LVE, y'all? He's under contract. You cut him, guess what? It messes you up in your salary cap slightly. Are you gonna keep him? Hold out hope that he plays, and if the doctors quote unquote release him, do you want LVE on the field? Yep, I'm gonna let you ask, because you want to brought it up.
So, look, I'm gonna start off by saying I appreciate what LVE has done on this team, what he has been for us. The fact that you've seen him constantly battle back year after year from multiple injuries, I don't
the same injury.
You're right. I don't question his commitment to football. But I do question his approach to the game. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because looking at film, there were several occasions last year And even the year before, where at times LVE may have had an individual dead to right and ended up making a business decision. I believe his series of injuries has caused him some type of trauma because he is making business decision after business decision. And that is not what I need to see from the heart and soul of my defense. The play caller, the green dot guy on my defense. That's not what I want to see from my Mike. I need to see my Mike flying around like a bat out of you know what.
Yeah.
Seeking out contact, not shying away from it. So to me, we've seen his ceiling.
Yep.
I don't think this is a situation where, oh, you can give him, let's say, Tyron Smith treatment and we're not going to practice him and you'll see him play, 15, 16, 17 games. I don't think that's the case. And honestly, I hope I'm wrong, but when I last saw him on the field after that hit, he looks like he could potentially be one hit away from a major injury that he will never be able to recover from. And now at this point, you have to be able to make decisions that not only affect you while you're playing football, but life after football. And I believe that LVE has given us everything he can possibly give us without sacrificing himself long term.
I like it. So here's my question, because I'm gonna go straight to solutions. Of course, I don't think LV should be there, so I can answer that real quick.
And he's not a Mike.
He's not a Mike. And let me say this, since you just said that, here it is. Neither, to me, are Damone Clark and
we don't have one.
And Overshawn.
We never replaced Sean Lee.
Bingo. All right. So here's my question, solution-wise. Are we going veteran or are we going draft looking for?
It needs to be veteran. It needs to be veteran. And the reason it needs to be veteran is because if we are truly all in and we're looking for right now, that guy, I need him to have some experience. I need him to know his way around the defense. I need him to know how to communicate to guys, to get them in the right spots, etc., whatever. I don't need somebody who's learning on the job and then trying to tell everybody else how to do their job. That's asinine. That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. So I need somebody, and I'm not, I hadn't done my full research yet, but I'm not leaning one way or another. I'm not pro Bobby, even though I do like Bobby. I don't know how much Bobby can offer us. Bobby, you look at the time that he spent in the league, he's taken some wear and tear. What's his name? Devin White in Tampa Bay. He's taken some wear and tear. So I believe we're going to have to find that fine line between experience and durability. You know, because I don't want to bring in somebody who's got great experience, but you're going to leave me halfway through the season. Maybe a guy who might be coming up or be on his second contract. That's our specialty, we like to catch him after the fact, but it also has to be a true Mike. Now, I don't need the old school 275-pound middle linebacker. I don't need that. I do need somebody with some beef, but I also need somebody who can move side to side with no problem. Who can scrape, who can feel. I need somebody to be able to do that. I need somebody for this position that fits all of the job responsibilities. The whole criteria. Not somebody I'm a flex into the position. No, I need a true middle linebacker, because to me that will set the tone for your defense and how they play.
I'm in total agreement, and I think that one of the things I think Amp kind of mentioned it slightly, but usually your green dot guy on defense usually is the middle linebacker. That's what it usually is. He's not usually the safety or something like that. No, you got guys like Curse who can do that, but that's not usually how it goes. So just based off that, it needs to be a veteran. But he also just said something that is majorly important. You don't want one of these guys, even though they may be smart, may be able to call the defense, but you don't need a guy that's going to get washed away when this lineman get on the second level, like our guys did. So Overshown will be back, but he's small.
Mm-hmm.
Damone, we've seen it. He's gotten washed in a few. Now he's aggressive, he's fast, he can hit, but we also seen him get washed away because he's small.
Yep.
So we got to find, and some of this will probably come from the draft. Ain't no question about that. But for now, some of these guys that you've seen that's free agent linebackers, one of them need to come to Dallas. And that is a solution that needs to happen now, because we don't want to play like we played last year with small, they really ain't linebackers. Overshown, if you remember, out of Texas, was also a safety. They just played him in the box a lot because he can hit folks. He really was a big safety. He almost kind of remind you of Curse, but more aggressive and knock people out. That's what Overshown was, but he's really not a true linebacker. We didn't have one except Clark.
See, so the thing that I liked about Overshown is he gave me Micah vibes.
Yeah.
And when I say Micah vibes, I don't mean like being just like Micah Parsons, but I'm talking about versatility.
The explosive.
Being able to put him very explosive. He was great in coverage. He definitely got his hands on the ball in college. But when he does come to tackle, he comes to tackle. You will feel him. Yeah.
Keith Williams, you got the right answer. I see what he said. He said, I believe Patrick Queen is a free agent. He is. But this is where I got two words for you when it comes to to Patrick Queen, William. Stephen Jones. See, Patrick Queen gonna cost you a lot of money. Will Stephen Jones pay that price? You know the answer to that.
It's gonna be less pie available.
Yeah, you know. We can name. Y'all already know that. Y'all already know how Stephen Jones is. So there's no sense of you entertaining that. He's saying we got to save up money for CD. We need to save up money for Dak. We need to save up money for Parsons. We need to say they're gonna get through all that kind of stuff. This is why. See, the all-in perspective, ladies and gentlemen. It starts up top. And that's where the all-in battle, if it really is a battle, between Stephen Jones and his desire to become the salary cap champion of the world for the third, fourth year in a row. Instead of coming out on day one in free agency, he wants to show up in free agency on day 4 or 5, where you get these crackerjack flea market free agents, guys who work at Jiffy Lube and change oil by the day, and those guys he say, hey, come on, be a Cowboy. I ain't talking about them free agents. I'm talking about day one, guys that make impact. When the Cowboys for years, when it comes to free agency, have done free agency for depth, not impact. And they made a trade for Gilmore and a trade for Cooks. Those are trades. I'm talking about free agency, where guys are free and you get to sign them if the money right. We got these Kool-Aid monopoly free agents that he want to sign. These Pac-Man free agents. It's ridiculous. I can't. So when you start talking about Queen, when you even start talking about somebody like Devin White, you got to respect Devin. He ain't gonna get much money as Queen.
No.
But you got to respect him as for a guy for what he's done in the league. You can't talk about saying, hey, we only gonna pay you $3 million. Nah, you ain't gonna get nobody.
What? No. This
is the same guy, and I'm gonna turn it back over to Amp. This is the same guy, y'all. That brought in Bobby Wagner and didn't offer him a contract. You brought him in the door, and he left out the door with nothing on his mind because you didn't offer him a contract. Why are you wasting this man's time? If you're not going to at least give him something to think about, it is totally ridiculous. This is Stephen Jones we're talking about. You cannot play or learn if you're all in now.
If
now, you're still all in for depth, then you're going to go to day 5 of free agents and get this Kool-Aid mix of drinks, free agents that you got. And then we good. But if you're talking about, really going in, you good. I got a super chat from Coach Mar. He says the linebacker coach has to go first. I agree. And I believe, Coach, that will happen whoever the new coordinator will be, because they're going to bring in their staff.
Oh, yeah.
I agree with you on that.
Wholeheartedly.
Yeah. You're going to let Mike.
He should have been on the first thing smoking.
Quickly.
What Joe Clark said, expeditiously.
Yeah, they took care of Quinn. Quinn took care of himself by leaving, but so that the linebacker coach got to go, and I'm quite sure whoever the coordinator is, they're gonna bring somebody else in on that. Talk about free agency from the defensive side, and you might as well throw in Stephen Jones with that, because that's and I hate to bust your balloon, but we know what time it is.
So your unrestricted free agents for 2024, Jonathan Hankins, Dorrance Armstrong, Dante Fowler, and Neville Gallimore, if you're talking about the front 7.
Yeah.
Now in your secondary, you've got Jaron Kearse, you've got Jay Lou, Gilmore, CJ Goodwin, and the individual we just acquired at the beginning of last season, Noah Igbenogany.
Wow.
So that's 3, 5, 7, 9 individuals on your defense are unrestricted free agents. You can kiss half of them goodbye.
Yes, sir.
So out of the individuals I mentioned on that front 4, being Hankins, Dorrance, Neville, and Fowler, that's 4 individuals. Give me your top 2 that you have to have next year.
If I had to do 2, Armstrong, let me go back. I like Hankins. I like him. I think Gallimore has to go. I wouldn't sign him. I've seen enough. I don't think they utilized Fowler enough.
They did not.
When they did use him, you could see the difference. And of course, I ain't too quick to get rid of pass rushers, so that's just me. So I would keep Hankins and Fowler. Everybody else, I can. Armstrong has been productive too.
He has.
In his limited time. And if he's getting 6, 7 sacks in a kind of like a part-time fashion, you almost wonder what.
But you know what? I'm gonna give you this crazy stat. He was second on our team in sacks.
That's what I was saying.
So
he's productive. I got a super chat here before you keep going. I saw JC Network saying, keep up the good work, guys. I appreciate that. We appreciate all that.
Salute.
Matter of fact, while we still talking, everybody hit that like button if you don't mind. Give us about 10 to 12 likes a piece. If you're on YouTube, hit that heart button at least. Everybody, individual, hit it about 12 times very quickly. You'll see how quick it goes. Hit that. This helps us as far as saying to the algorithm, hey, the algorithm say, hey, these 2 guys here talking, and they're talking about something, and y'all might need to check out this show. That's basically what's going on. Everybody hit it for us if you don't mind. We just trying to do what we can do, give our little voice on what we think Cowboy should be doing coming up very, very simply and nicely. Go ahead, Amp.
So, yeah, I'm totally with you. I appreciate Dorrance for what he did, but to me, I think Fowler has the biggest upside if used properly. And if we can get Zimmer in here and he get his hands on those guys, oh my God, the rotation would be ridiculous. And he would be getting guys to maximize and reach their full potential. And I'm gonna say this too. Now this is definitely a Steven move because he's got some leverage and he can say, hey, I was second in sacks behind Micah. Dorrance might want that back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't know if Fowler necessarily has the same leverage as Dorrance. So I would definitely, that's a Steve. This is again, I'm stepping into Stephen Catboy Jones's role, but Fowler potentially could be your cheaper option and still give you the higher upside. So I am definitely all about bringing Hankins back. I appreciate what he did, clogging that middle. Lord, it did make things better, a lot cleaner for your linebackers. I just need my linebackers to be linebackers.
There you go.
You know, but
he's a linebacker first.
I also need this organization to figure out what the heck is the game plan for Mozzie Smith. Are your intentions to keep him as a one tech, or are you secretly trying to convert him into a 3-tech?
Well, first of all, Amp, you on part B. It started part A. First of all, put him at a table.
Hold on real quick. Williams is not an unrestricted free agent, so he will be here next year. We didn't mention him because we're only talking about unrestricted free agents right now. Go ahead, big time.
So first thing you need to do is put Mozzie at a table and serve him 3 ribeye steaks so he can gain his weight back. That's the first thing.
That boy needs to eat.
Because he looked like 35 pounds this last year, and he got swallowed up, pushed around.
Only whole milk.
Yeah, come on, that's it. We need to get him some Twinkies. We need to get him some cupcakes. We need to get him all type of stuff just to make sure that he eats, and then we can talk about what he can play and all that type of stuff. That's the first thing. But the Cowboys will not give up on him at all, because guess what? He's their first round draft pick. The Cowboys gonna stick it through. They don't give up on players. They don't give up on them quickly. So they're gonna give every opportunity for Mozzie to come about. But the Cowboys, you gotta be somewhat patient, because his job was never to be a playmaking defensive tackle. He's more of a clogger. He's not a Warren Sapp, Chris Jones type player. He's never been that. He wasn't like that in Michigan. He's a plugger. He controls his gap. He holds out and he lets linebackers run, like Amp said. If we can get him back to that, that's what he was brought in for, to be a plugger in the middle. We can't. Y'all want a Pro Bowl at every position. Mozzie's job is just to plug the middle. This is what he does. He's not Warren Sapp. He's Mozzie Smith. But he can't be Mozzie Smith if he looking like a dang defensive end instead of a linebacker. I mean a real defensive tackle. You got to let him. I don't know what they did to him, but he need to eat. So I'm serious. It's just
I'm gonna tell you what one of my old deacons told me. God rest his soul. I went to visit him, and this was during my time in college. And I went and we sat in his library one day because I was kind of going through some things and just trying to figure myself out as a young man. And he had known me since I was in my mother's womb. And he said, look, when you try to become something you aren't,
Yeah.
you lose the essence of who you truly are.
Yes, sir.
He said you have to be. He said you can't try and attempt to be your mom.
Mhm.
You can't try and attempt to be your father, as much as you look like both of them. You have to be the best version of you. And see, I said that because, and I talked about it earlier, we need a defensive coordinator who is going to come in here and push players' strengths.
Yeah.
Now, don't forget about the weaknesses. You still want to kind of develop those as well.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, that's what makes you a stronger and more complete player.
Yeah.
But we have to. It is imperative that we push our players' strengths.
Yeah.
Because that's when you get the best version of your entire team.
Yeah. And if you're not doing that, you'll fall into the same position that we're in now. That next year we'll be talking about the same thing. Like we've been saying, who we gonna get to clog up the middle? We need linebackers. So, I mean, if you don't do this, we're gonna be running to the same thing again, which of course is defined as insanity.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we are. So that's why I said at the beginning that the choice of this new defensive coordinator is so big for us this year, because I'm still saying the same thing about Coach McCarthy: more finesse, not physical enough, not for me. And I believe that we got to get some type of physicality on some side of the ball.
Yeah.
And since Quinn is gone, here's your opportunity to get that type of coach that it may spread over the offensive side of the ball as well. We need that type of coach, and the one that leads to me, and I believe I'm speaking for Amp as well, of the candidates that are being poised or called upon. Mike Zimmer, to me, fits that bill, and I would be very comfortable with him. I don't know nothing about Wink Martindale. I know a little bit about him. I know about Vrabel, but Vrabel wants to be a coach, head coach.
Absolutely, yeah.
He don't want to. That's kind of like Bill Belichick. Somebody talking about Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick don't want to be a coordinator. He only 14 or 15 wins away from being the all-time winningest coach. You don't get credit for being a coordinator for wins. Come on, man. You can't insult the guy. So it's Zimmer to me. That's who I want to happen. And he will be able to tell us, because he's had high success with his defenses, he will be able to tell us this is the type of player that we need in order to make my defense work. I need this guy to be here. So I think that's very, very important about that. You got anything else on there, Amp?
No, I'm totally with you on it. I got a question for you though.
Okay.
As far as the secondary goes, now we admitted earlier in the show that we like the play from our secondary. Now you've got 5 individuals who are unrestricted, and that's J-Ron, Jordan Lewis, Stephon, CJ Goodwin, and Noah Igbenogany.
Mm-hmm.
Out of that group of 5, give me the 3 that you are willing to retain.
Give me the names one more time.
J-Ron Kearse, Jordan Lewis, Stephon Gilmore, your special team stud, CJ Goodwin, and the corner we acquired from Miami, Noah Igbenogany.
The last name you just called, I can't pronounce his name. Get rid of him. I want. I think they're loyal to CJ. He's been there so long, and I don't have a problem with him because he's productive.
Absolutely,
that's one. So I don't have no problem with that. He knows his role, and he does his role well.
Absolutely.
I think Bones would almost cry if he left.
Yeah.
The only problem with Jordan Lewis has been he's just been hurt.
Right.
When he plays and he's right, he's productive.
Yep.
And he's also, again, one of those guys that's a cowboy, a true cowboy. The dilemma now comes between Curse, but I believe, and this just me, I like Curse. I do. But I believe having Curse in there robs us of, but that's because Quinn played the big nickel look and all that kind of stuff. Well, forget the big nickel. I believe having Curse in there robs us of having a more aggressive player on the field at all times, like Donovan Wilson.
Agreed.
And of course, Hooker is there. I believe that if at this point in their careers, I believe Donovan Wilson is much better than Curse, even though Curse is productive. I want Wilson because that's another thumper.
Yep.
That's another thumper. That's another playmaker. I believe we're better than that. So give me, if I had to pick, it would have to be Curse because that's the only thing I got. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Get rid of Curse. Keep Gilmore.
Yep.
Give me Gilmore. Give me Lewis, and give me CJ. Yeah. And I'm ready to roll. I'm ready to play football.
Look, especially when you look at that room and you're talking about the younger talent.
Yeah.
I mean, because again, maybe we'll see him again under this new defensive coordinator. But Israel McQuamu got lost in the sauce last year.
And most
like we saw him maybe 1 or 2 games, and that was it. Like,
that's it.
And there were rumors and ripples that he may have of management or coaching may have fallen out of love with him or whatever for something he said or did, whatever. My thing is, if it was that egregious, trade him or cut him.
Yeah. Don't let him just wither away on the sideline.
Because if we were able to get something in return for Kelvin Joseph, I definitely believe we will be able to get some kind of capital for Israel McQuamu. I mean, because you saw him reduce Mike Evans to a fraction in that playoff game.
Shut him down.
Shut him absolutely down. So there is a certain skill level there. There is talent there. But I believe, again, and we keep doubling back to it, but the right coach could potentially help him blossom.
Yeah.
May make us forget J-Ron Curves.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, you when you fall in love with your guys,
it's hard.
Now you're talking about stifling the growth of your young talent.
Exactly.
The same way you're talking about the growth being stifled in your linebacker room because we're being loyal to LVE.
Yeah. And keep in mind, you hate to say this, and I don't think I never heard nobody say this. This is why I like talking to Amp over my mind up a little bit. Here's the thing that y'all, is common sense, y'all. The reason why, and we were wondering why Donovan is not on the field more consistently, okay? We were also wondering why Israel wasn't getting on the field.
And Wanye.
Especially Wanye, because Wanye is a playmaker and go after it. Here's the reason why nobody ain't never said this. I'm the first one. I already know it because it just hit me. Which stunts your growth, as you just said. The reason why Kurt stayed on the field so much is because, he was the green dot guy.
After LVE went down.
He was the green dot guy. You're not putting who's gonna be the green dot guy if Curtis was splitting up with Donovan. Donovan ain't calling that. He didn't trust Damone Clark with it. Who's gonna be the green dot guy?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. But if your team, if you're keeping a guy on the field because nobody else can call it, even though you got better talent on the sideline, you need to go get some folks that know how to call defense. You need to go do that because I really believe that was one of the things. Man. It was only 2 guys that was green dot guys last year. Let me see. Am I right? It was Curse
and LVE.
and LVE. That was it.
2 individuals who could potentially not even be here next year. So guess what? You're gonna have to find you one anyway. And my thing is, if you call yourself a defensive coordinator and you got a guy who is worth being a starter on your team, and you can't
put him on.
Train him to be the green dot guy.
You can't put him on. You can't line everybody up. You can't line Curse was lining everybody up and credit to him.
From the rear
all the way up to the D line. He was lining everybody up.
He trying to holler up to the front of the bus.
Yeah. We didn't have nobody. So in the essence, even though Israel may be a more, and I give Wanye the real credit. We saw what he can do.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they were probably a little bit more talented, they were a liability in the game if Curtis is not on the field. Maybe that explains why we played so much big nickel last year. 6 DBs and all that kind of stuff. The safeties.
I said it honestly and truthfully. Our base package was dime.
Once
LVE went out, like
because
you talking about because you had Marquise Bell.
Marquise, yeah. Come on, man. And, little guy.
Who is what?
No more
safety.
Yeah.
A safety in nature.
Yeah.
Like, so you would have him, you would have, Wilson, J-Ron, like.
Yeah. Oh my God. But see, these are the little small problems that I think that can cost you, real stuff there. Coach Marv says, Big Show and Amp. I can't see the rest of them. Let me move this out. There it is. What free agents, Dak or any player, why would a player want to sign an extended free agency contract or extension with a team you do not know who the coach will be in the future? Good question, Coach. Only thing I'm gonna say is, well, a lot of them they don't care. Some of them want the dollar signs there.
True.
That's part of it.
True.
But I see
not every player wants a championship.
Yeah. But from your perspective, Coach, I can understand that part, and
Absolutely.
That's where I feel like maybe you got to just point at certain guys. I think that's where Micah Parsons comes into play. Because if you don't get him the right coach down here, he very well may get on down. I think CD ain't going nowhere because you got to pay him $30 million. It's the same $30 million. Well, it may not be the same, but it's the case where, he could just going to stay. But I understand exactly what you're saying, Coach. It's a good question to ask. But that's a part where the Cowboys messed up to me, is that by having Curse on the field, it eliminated some of these guys that we've been calling out to get on the field a little bit more because they weren't calling the defense. I mean, that's sad, but that's really raggedy once you really look at it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't even put my best players on the field because they can't call. I ain't got nobody that can call defense but one person. Matter of fact, who else was they training? Because Curse could get hurt. I mean, who else was the other guy? I mean, we'll never know. But somebody had to be getting taught the green dot way.
Had to.
I don't know who that was, man. But it is what it is. Listen, let me run this commercial. I know you guys want to talk about Coach. If I know you like I know you want to jump on this line. But I'm not going to open up the line tonight because we're already pushing for time. I got about 13 more minutes. Let me run another ad from one of my sponsors here. This does not have a music, but just check it out. I'll explain a little bit later once we come off. Check this out. All right, that was Magnificent Hands, sponsor of the Big Time Show. Listen, if you obviously if you were watching, you saw he's a massage therapist. His company, of course, deals with massages, primarily here in the Memphis area, Mississippi and Arkansas area. If you're looking for that person, of course, this is the time as we get closer to Valentine's Day now, and where you want to give your mate or your girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever it is, a tremendous hour or however long that you guys negotiated. This is the guy that can handle you. He has ladies that are massage therapists as well, along with himself and other people. They do couple massages. They do it all. Listen, if you're interested and you're in the Memphis area, the Arkansas, the Mississippi area, please call. They do massage parties for companies. They do that. They will come to your place of business and give you that. If you're interested, call him now, Anthony Cochran, at 901 area code 607-1527. Again, 901-607-1527. Trust me. And then, of course, if you call, use the Big Time 20 code to get a special discount from that. So I hope you guys will at least consider that as well. Listen, you guys are lighting up this chat. I wish that we can go through all of it. I see meters that say Marquise Bell was 205 pounds. That's a running back.
Not even. Tony Pollard way more than that.
Yeah, that's a lie. That's a running back playing middle line. I mean, playing wheel linebacker, and sometimes even Sam. It's crazy, man. You got to get the proper players in to get it right. I believe Zimmer can do all that for you. I believe he can handle that for you. You got to get the right guy in. I believe we're gonna do that. Talk, Amp. I see you.
I see two good questions.
Go ahead.
One by Nick Burston, and he says, "Do you think DQ wanted Mozzie?" And I'm gonna tell you this. I don't think it was a matter of wanting Mozzie, but I think it was a matter of need of addressing your defensive tackle position and having somebody who would be able to provide Jonathan Hankins some spare reps and somebody who could develop and learn underneath him. And I believe at the time they felt that he was the best defensive tackle available. I'll say that. The next question is from Kid Cowboy. Why were they playing 10 yards off the line? And I'm guessing you were referring to our cornerbacks.
Lord Jesus.
I've only asked myself that question every single game that I have watched for the last couple of years. That's a Dan Quinn signature, unfortunately. Hopefully the next defensive coordinator we get in, because to me, I felt like in a lot of instances, we made things a little too easy on teams by playing off so far. You were giving them the easy under. Now I get it. You don't want to get, the ball thrown over your head. But being completely honest, even with us playing 10 yards off, and you saw it in the Green Bay game, the ball still went over our head. I believed, and you asked me the question, we did the show right before Miami, but we were talking about how we wanted to attack them.
Yeah.
And I said, in some instances, I believe you should press certain guys to throw off the timing to allow your pass rush to get there.
Especially if they were timing offense.
I mean, we were like matadors out there. Ole! Like, come on. I have not seen my receivers, my corners get physical with other receivers. I don't even know if they're capable of doing it.
Yeah. It's crazy.
They run with them or they'll trail them. But I've never seen them do the hand combat mid-route.
Let me ask you this. I see William We talked about this on our last show, William. You might want to peep out our last show that was on Saturday. You say what helps a defense is a running game. Thoughts on running backs? Well, we gave that. We came to the conclusion that Derrick Henry will solve all of that. Time of possession.
And he's not the only one. He's just
no. He's just one. It'll put Dak back on the center. That's important. You got a real chance to run 2 tight end sets, maybe even sometimes 3 tight end sets. Derrick Henry can flourish and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
It also helps out Dak with the play action game. It forces a defense to respect the running game instead of running a shotgun and a run up the middle. If you got Derrick Henry there, you can put him on the center, fake it to him. It's going to be wide open. It's going to be a 8-man in a box type thing, which will leave 1-on-1 for the wide receiver. Just that one man will cause all of that. That's how powerful Henry is. You even put a Josh Jacobs there, I think you get the same thing. If you put Josh Jacobs back there, it's good. Now, Will, you just asked the right question right there. Will Stephen Jones pay to Henry? History says no. But the all-in concept, depending on their version and definition, really, of all-in, will answer that. That part we really don't know. We know what our version is of that, but we got to know of that. And I end with this, Amp, because we're going to run out of time. This is my observation. The Cowboys broke their protocol when they come to draft. When they say we're going to get the best player available, I don't think Marlon Smith was the best player available.
He wasn't. He was the best defensive tackle available.
He was the best defensive tackle.
Yep.
But I don't even think he was the best defensive player at that particular time.
He wasn't.
So they broke the protocol of what they usually do. That's how we got Parsons. That's how we got CeeDee Lamb. You got the best player available. And this time you just went out of need. That's not how you draft.
Nope.
So that may be one of the problems that Will, McClay, and whoever else wanted to pick. That might be the problem on that. There may have been even a Dan Quinn pick, to be honest with you. So I think that's the mistake that we can't make again this year on that part. Amp, man, I love you, brother. Go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you and everything else.
Again, I appreciate you for the opportunity, man. You can find me on all social platforms at AMPD Sports. Again, y'all, hey, for some who joined us late, if you are unaware, today is a national holiday. We are celebrating Big Time's birthday, so y'all see it on the ticker at the bottom. $ Cash App, The Big Time Show. Bless the man. Show him how much you love and appreciate him for the content that he puts out and for being the man that he is. Until next time, Cowboy Nation, I appreciate y'all. Good, better, best. Never let it rest. Till your good becomes your better and your better becomes your best. Until next time, y'all be blessed.
Appreciate that, Amp. Listen, William Key, get it right, brother. I'm 51. Don't add on no more years. I'm 51, not 52. I'm 51, Doc. 51. I'm 51 years old today. Praise God for that. I'm really grateful, considering that I had a stroke at the end of last year. Look, I'm just happy to be here, man. So I appreciate all of you guys. If you want to bless me, like Amp said, if you give $1, I'm cool. $sign on Cash App, the Big Time Show. I appreciate it so much for all that. I appreciate Amp, of course, again, for coming on. As we said before, I think we kind of developed it won't be his last time, for sure. And congratulations to Amp, too, who went live on his own yesterday. So you guys need to subscribe to him. Most of you guys know him from hanging with Boss Cowboy and Coach Marv, giving us the watch parties. But Amp went live yesterday on his own. So that was huge. I applaud him for that. And so we're going to go ahead and make sure that we support him on his show. Who knows? Big Time may show up on his show and see what's taking on that part. So let's go ahead and support each other on that part. And we're getting ready to get out of here. Last time I didn't get off early enough, but I'm going to do it now. I need everybody to hit that clap emoji, and let's go ahead and get out of here. And then we'll see you guys later this week. I might do a pop-up show as soon as we hear some news. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys. This has been the one and the only. I ain't want to do that. This has been the Big Time Show.